like jump straight into it. There are several segments. The first segment we're going to like talk about Mr. Bayo Adesanya, the person. We're going to talk about like his industry and also like general like advice that he has for other businesses in here. Then after that, we're going to take questions from the audience. So if you have any questions at all, no worries. Just like keep them, save them, write them down somewhere. By the end of the event, we're going to like have everyone ask the questions that they'd like to ask them, Mr. Bayo. All right, so jumping straight into it, Mr. Bayo Adesanya, thank you so much for joining us. So what does it mean to be Chief Digital Officer at AXA Mansard?
Okay, thank you, Abdurrahman. And let me say, it's still morning. Good morning. Thanks for taking out time on your weekend to come here. What does it mean to be Chief Digital Officer at AXA Mansard? This was the question, correct? Okay. I have two broad responsibilities. One is e-commerce, and the other is digital transformation. So, as Chief Digital Officer, I have a, thank you very much, another lady comes in. Yes, so it's to grow our e-commerce business. Basically, ensure that people are able to buy our products online. I think if you strip all the big grammar away, that's really what it comes down to. We're also then, as a consequence of that, or I'm also then responsible for ensuring that we have the right type of product in the right form available for optimal consumption online. So product portfolio management as well. I'm also responsible for seeking out, or if people also introduce to us, just identifying the right type of e-partners, of which Paystack, obviously is one of the companies that fit into that category. But any organization or individual that is able to help us to achieve that first objective that I mentioned, i.e. e-commerce, and to sell to our customers, then I'm interested in doing business with them as long as it aligns. I think, like I mentioned as well, I also have a responsibility to help the core business. And let me be a bit selfish about that now. Help the core business to transform into a more digital organization. But selfishly, my focus is on the areas of the core business that are directly related to what I do for the company. I don't know if you understand the point that I'm trying to make. So I'm dancing a little bit between, but my job is external facing. I am all about the customers. The team is all about the end user. So any internal process, any internal, process that will help to improve the experience of the customers that we serve and will help to make our products more available to them, then I'm interested in straight away helping to also transform digitally. Again, I will use Paystack as an example. Payments is something that they have helped to ease, and that's why we're sitting here today. So broadly speaking, that's what I do for AXA Mansard.
Okay, all right. Can you please share a little bit about your journey to your role, to your current role right now at AXA Mansard?
Okay. How many science graduates are there in the room?
There's one here.
Okay. How many people with a sales background are in the room? No, so the hands are not as plenty. I mean sales, direct sales, like on the street sales, not inside AC sales. Okay. How many ex-consultants, business consultants are in the room? Okay, this one is ticking out. You're a science student, graduate as well. No, okay, so you don't qualify in that one. But essentially, I am a science graduate who then became a salesperson, sales customer service. So my career, my entire working career, I think, has been in the professional services. Okay, first starting with retail. How many people know Orchid Bistro? Right, their hands up there. So 20 years ago, I and one of our, I don't remember if she was a cleaner or one of the sales, like retail sales staff, opened up what you now know as Orchid Bistro, just around the corner here. We cleaned the shop, we dusted, we set up the equipment in there. Orchid Bistro started out as the first retail outlet for Robert's Cakes, Pastries and More, which is owned by Dr. Robert Agbo, who's a friend of mine. So straight out of university, that's where a few of us went in to help him run the business. So I did that for a bit, went off and worked with, how many people know Overland Airways? So I worked with Landover. We were in the process of setting up Overland Airways when I left them as well. Went off and tried to get extra degrees and things like we like to do here. Was abroad for a short bit, and then came back and spent quite some time with, how many people know Philips Consulting? Okay, so I worked with Philips Consulting for just a bit over 12 years, and then eventually joined AXA Mansard when I decided to try something else, or maybe, as we like to say, go back into industry and stop giving advice and go get it done instead. I will say that maybe the common thread, some of this has occurred to me as I've been growing as well too, is that I've always wanted to solve problems for people. I'm also proudly Nigerian. So you'll see I've worked with, they're Nigerian-owned companies, except for maybe the time that I was abroad. And AXA Mansard as well is a Nigerian-owned company originally, up until, the acquisition by AXA. But we still remain very much within, in charge of the business. So I like supporting causes or organizations, that have a core Nigerian heart and are solving core Nigerian problems. I think that's why I'm here.
Well, that's like a really long journey to where you are today.
Yes, really long.
All right. So while in your role, what interesting things have you learned about the non-financial, non-banking financial sector? What are some interesting things you've learned?
Okay, non-banking financial service sector. I think if I use our company and just sort of talk about the businesses that where we play within that space. So clearly there's insurance and then there's asset management. Okay. On the insurance side, selling insurance is hard though. I think, again, mainly because there's a lack of appreciation, awareness, so it makes it harder. We also understand the economic situation, or rather the stage, the developmental stage that the country still is in. It makes it difficult for people to set aside money for causes that, in quotes, might not happen, and on the religious level, God forbid, not my portion, etc. On the asset management side, I think certainly over the last 5 years, maybe even I can stretch it almost to a decade, but let me say 5 years. There's definitely been an increased appreciation, certainly amongst the younger generation as well too for saving. I mean, young people are talking about money these days in ways that certainly I would say, let me use myself. Growing up, I wasn't so conscious of. But, people in university, even children, secondary school, primary school children, I have 2 kids. They would tell me, they're saving this money, this one is set aside for this, so I have to pay for the thing that they want. But you have money now, go and no. So those would be 2 major things that I would say that, I'm not an insurance, I don't have an insurance background, I don't have a finance background, but coming into this space, those are 2 major things that I would say have sort of really hit me. But they also point to the huge potential for growth, in that space that remains.
Okay. So you've talked a lot about how your job is about transforming your company digitally, the digital transformation of your company. So let's talk a bit about that. For your team in particular, what does success look like?
Well, for one, success would mean that everybody in this room is an AXA Mansard customer in one shape or form. So if I roll that out, then I would tell you that I think for us, if we can't cover all Nigerians, right? What's a good number for us to target, to aim for? Maybe you guys should help me. So I might throw one out and you say that I'm being greedy, right? But maybe let me share personally. Coming in, my personal view of success is that I would like for, let's say insurance on one hand. Savings, we know people get savings already, so I don't really need to preach to the converted. But for insurance, I would like for insurance to be part of everyday conversation, like airtime, like Indomie, right? But for people to understand it, to get it, and to use it as well. That personally for me is something that privately I think is what I'm trying to do. Obviously, technology helps us to be able to try and address that gap. So we don't need to gather people in a room like this necessarily and be talking to them. We can push messages out digitally and try and engage across different points. But for the team, our overriding ambition, the customer lies at the heart of everything that we do. It's right there at the center. So we really just want to provide customer-friendly solutions, right? Delivered through, I would say, at least certainly locally, the most compelling digital experience. So we have Amazon as our benchmark. Yeah, if I want to simplify that, I say we want to be the Amazon of this industry. Okay, with Amazon, I don't need to sell what they do to you or what the experience is like. But that level of experience, certainly within the industry, is what we're aiming for. So that would be success,
Okay. All right, yeah. Thank you very much for that. So leading the digital transformation of a 30-year-old AXA Mansard can be challenging, right? So how does your team leverage technology to transform the company?
Okay, I know you said a 30-year-old company. Maybe just to clarify a little bit that the company, at least in this version, is a bit younger than that, and that maybe helps as well. Effectively, if we track back to about 2004, when we were still, we went through a few changes. It was GT Assurance, and then it became Mansard, and we've moved on now to AXA Mansard. But certainly, if we were to go maybe from 2004, the organization understands the need for technology to support the business. I think that's the first thing. So perhaps not from a 30-year mindset, but a younger, more agile mindset. So for us, and how we help to support that, I think you have to look at every stage of what we do. So from product conceptualization to design, development, delivery, or distribution, if you like, all the way through, including customer experience as well, and also even after sales. In this case, which is the big one for insurance, right? Well, what's the main thing that customers care about with insurance? Say that again. Premium, yes, but more importantly, claims. Okay. So for technology and how we use that to drive all these steps that I've talked about. For example, with product design, there's a lot of customer engagement. So either leveraging on technology, you run surveys or conduct touch points, engage with customers that way. Technology makes that easier now, right? I can deploy a survey online. I can send something out and target people in a specific demographic if I want responses from that area. If we move along to, let me say, product delivery, then you talk about the channels. We have a website, we have a mobile app, and we also recently launched our USSD service. Now, that is about giving options to the customer. It's about convenience, making it easy for the customer. Remember from where I started, we have products that we believe are relevant. We will also design new products based on what customers say, but I want to be able to deliver those to you without causing you, causing you the least amount of stress as possible. Moving on from there, I talked about user experience as well. So just engaging with customers, or having systems in place to engage with customers for me to know if the level of service that I'm providing to you is satisfactory, and if it's not, being able to quickly make it better. And then if we go all the way to after sales, so you've purchased the product, you're happy with us, that's fine. On the insurance side, you only really value what you have when you need to make a claim. So that whole claims management process, which traditionally has been very manual and which has traditionally been very manual and probably painful, mostly painful in the past. We're also able now, you get on any of these channels that I've said, and you're able to lodge or initiate a claim, from there, and then we follow up as well. So I would say that that's how we're using technology to support the company in its objectives. Yeah.
So you talked about how the younger generation are more taken to things like savings, right? But how do you market AXA Mansard's investment, insurance, health, and even a pension offerings to a younger and a more tech savvy audience? So those other things that they're not so immediately drawn to.
Okay. So if I asked, and I coming in here, I really, yes, people will come to listen to me to talk, but I do these things as well because I try and also learn. There's a lot of knowledge that is sitting down in there. This one is ex-consultant, not science student though, but almost, he's done sales. There's salespeople. There are people I'm sure who are running their own businesses here as well too. So my question also would be, let me throw this to the audience and say, how would you want us to market our products to you? What would make sense to you? And then I will tell you if we are doing it or not. And if we're not doing it, no problem. We'll take notes and we'll make sure we do it. Yes? Tailor-made products.
And I don't know how, you talked about how you create products that are customer-centric. But organizations like as big as AXA Mansard
Yes.
would most times have general products.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not very sure if these products can be twisted a little to suit a particular business needs.
Okay.
How flexible is AXA Mansard in that?
Okay, all right, and I'll come to you now. So you've used a word that I was going to use now as part of my answer. You've asked how flexible are we. We have a motor insurance product that's called AutoFlex, which allows you to pick and choose what type of cover you want. Traditionally, motor insurance, you would buy, it's either you're buying third party, which is the mandatory one, everybody ought to have. So I hope everybody has it in the room. If you don't have it, go and get it. They've started collecting, jacking people on the roads and collecting money, okay? But at least third party. But for comprehensive insurance, traditionally, the insurance company will tell you how much it is, right? You pay once in a year. Okay, maybe you negotiate to get some discount, all right? And that's it, you shake hands and you don't see them again for 1 year. When the thing is about to expire, in fact, before, they wouldn't even tell you that it's about to expire. It probably would expire and you're the one who's chasing them up. We were the first company to introduce a digital motor insurance product, AutoFlex, which allows you to choose the type of covers you want. So if you live in a very dry area, there's never any chance of your car being flooded, you remove it, right? If you live in if there are lots of demonstrations and there could be plenty civil unrest in your area, you will include it in case something happens and somebody throws a rock and it breaks your windscreen, so at least you're protected from that. If the chances of you being involved in a fire incident are next to nothing, you remove it from there as well. So you end up paying a cheaper amount for something that has been customized to you, largely. So back to the question that he raised, I think that's one of the points I was going to make, that we try, to tweak our products. Even beyond the products as well, is to tweak the pricing. For the younger generation that you've talked about, we understand that they don't have as much money to spend. People are still growing, right? They're still trying. Somebody still wants to get married. They're still looking to buy a new car, maybe not new, maybe second hand, going to rent house, etc. The amount of money that they have available to devote to, that they have excess or spare is a little. So you try and customize, make products that are bite-sized, right? We also try and make, that's the whole point of my team, products that can be bought digitally. So you don't need to come into any office, you don't need to come and see. The products that we sell online are products that you can consume from start to finish online. For our motor insurance products, you will complete the purchase process. And then of course, if you're a first-time customer, somebody will come, they will ring you and come inspect the car within 24 to 48 hours. So you don't have to go out of your way to look for an office, you are going to look for an agent to come and do anything, just to try and make it as convenient as possible. Yeah.
I know there are general products, motor insurance, health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
motor insurance. But what about, let me not go hypothetical. Let me give you a life scenario. If, for example, I have a business process, I have a new idea, and I need to bring a tailor-made product
Very good.
from an insurance company,
Very good.
into my
business. Sure.
How flexible?
Okay, very good. Very good. So I will say that you need to have a conversation with me and my colleagues, I have to dash off after, but with my colleagues afterwards, and you will have that, start that process to explore what's possible. Again, remember that our focus here is mainly for digital products.
It's also digital.
Very good. No worries. Then I would say you should have the. But for anybody else, and assuming you weren't here today, I think the first step would be to contact us and try and share this request that you have.
And say, I've tried to contact. I've been to AXA Mansard office. Tried to explain what my intentions were.
Yeah.
And try to get direction on who I'm supposed to speak with.
Okay.
But unfortunately, even the customer service person at the desk cannot even tell me.
Okay.
So when I saw this opportunity on Paystack,
you just came and said we must have it here.
Yes.
So no problem. Like I said, in fact, I will do one better. So speak to this gentleman in glasses in front of you when we finish.
Yeah, so
let me not.
Immediately after the session,
yes.
While we have our drinks, we'll have the opportunity to engage with people from AXA Mansard themselves. All right. So moving on, a company as large as AXA Mansard, right? How have you managed to stay nimble and innovative throughout the years?
Right. Okay. I think we sort of touched on this with one of the previous questions. Firstly, is to say that remember, I've only been with the company since mid-2017. So the company gets why it has to be nimble and agile, as you've said. It gets technology. It understands the need for reinvention to keep itself relevant. It's because they understand that I joined as well too. And I will say that really the simple answer is that first, we are not even the biggest company in the industry, right? So if we are not the top dog, then what excuse do you have to sit down and relax? I would say that if you are not number one, then where is the comfort zone for you to sit down and say, okay, yes, we've made it. Insurance coverage is ridiculously low. So like the point I made before as well too, there's a huge potential still out there. There are large numbers, the majority of the population is not covered yet. People still have to pay out of pocket, for medical care. People lose, I remember the flood that happened, I think in 2017, people lose their livelihoods. So there are real problems that still need to be solved. There's a lot. So there is no excuse for us to then say, oh, okay, there's a lot that still needs to be done. So that would be my answer to you. And we know that technology helps us to address a lot of those issues very quickly. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk a bit about your relationship with Paystack before we then delve fully into AXA Mansard, the company.
Okay.
So so far, what has been AXA Mansard's experience working with a fintech like Paystack?
Terrible. Abdurrahman will just grab his microphone and they will give me the water, hopefully, and I will be on my way. No. Obviously, I'm here today because we're very happy with Paystack. I think I will say that. Otherwise, we'll be fighting. They will invite me and will say, which invitation? I beg. But Paystack, so far for us, certainly has been a payment partner, right? A partner to facilitate, to ease payment options for our customer, thereby helping to improve the experience that the customer has on our channels. Remember the introduction that I gave, at the start, and that's the whole point. So before Paystack, certainly we did have options for online payments, But what they've brought on board for us is a lot more flexibility. I would say also a lot more consistency, okay, in terms of people trying to pay using their service, and the success rate is good. Internally too, we also have a dashboard. I think one of the things that we do, or one of my responsibilities, which I didn't mention at the start, is to drive the use of CRM and analytics, right, for the company. Paystack helps us to do that. And what is the purpose of that? It is to be able to mine the data that you get from your customers. First of all, to be able to collect data, right, and then make sense of the data to make better decisions for the benefit of the customer. And I would say that these are the things that having Paystack on board as a partner have helped us certainly to really improve on, yeah.
All right, thank you. So let's talk about AXA Mansard, the company now.
Right.
What's AXA Mansard's relationship with the larger AXA group like? Is AXA Mansard autonomous, or is decision making centralized?
Oh no, we're very autonomous. So AXA acquired, controlling stake in the business. I think it was 2014. I think it was concluded December 2014. But the indicator for you is also that the management has been the same since. We didn't change management. The same team that runs, or that was running the company before that, is the one that's still in charge. So we are very autonomous, even though we belong to a company now that is present in over 60 countries and has, about 166,000 employees, and we have over 100 million customers. Yes. Yeah, so yes, I think that would be the short answer. Obviously, right, there's the other element, the whole point of investing, and even the Nigerian entity being interested in the acquisition too, is you want to then also raise your level to global standards. All right, so there are procedures, there are processes, there are resources. There's a lot of benefits in being part of the group, but for what happens in the market here, we're fully in charge of that.
For Nigeria,
yes.
AXA Mansard is fully autonomous.
Yes, that is the model.
Enjoy the benefits of being part of that large network.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so where does AXA Mansard sit within the non-banking financial sector in Nigeria? Are there any stats that you can share with us to help us understand where AXA Mansard is positioned with respect to the broader landscape in general? Okay.
So like I said, we're not number one if you take the full if you take the company as one entity and you try and you rank us in the industry. However, our health insurance business is number one in that space. That's the fastest growing business. So we have 4 businesses or entities within the company. There's the life and general insurance business, right? There's the health insurance business, and then we have our asset management, investments, and then pensions. So the health business is number one in that space. I believe the asset management business is number 5 in that space. Likewise, our pensions arm too is number 5 within its own space. And I think our P&C business, property and casualty, is I think number 7 or thereabouts or so. So overall, the company itself, if you take AXA Mansard as a group, we are within the top top 4, top 5 in the industry as a whole in, non-banking, yes, for Nigeria. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. So, like, what are some like interesting trends shaping the non-banking financial sector in Nigeria today? What are you most excited about, and what are some like potential threats that you foresee?
Okay, that sounds like a strategy consulting question, man. In my previous life, yes, that's like opportunity, do a SWOT analysis, and okay, well, okay. But thanks for the question. There are two major trends that I would maybe quickly identify. One is technology, right? We say we are living in the digital age already. It's not in the future anymore. It is here, it is now. So technology is one. And the impact of technology, certainly in this space, in financial services as a whole, I think the technology space in Nigeria has been driven largely by mobile communications and the financial service sector, right? So that's one major one. The second one, I think, would be for us, let me say, the entry of foreign players, right? Or maybe I should call it foreign investment into the industry as well too. But you see, we're also representative of that. So AXA Global has invested in us locally, raising therefore our capabilities, right? But then it's happening across the industry as well. So both these trends are very positive, very good, but then they also they come with their own challenges as well. So for foreign participation or foreign investment, right, in the industry, it raises the level of competition. So that's another reason why we can't sit down and say, we're number so and that's it, we've made it, let everybody go on holiday. Things are changing every day. And if you're not careful, you become, somebody consumes you for lunch, and that's the end. On the technology front, I'm sure we are all aware of how difficult or how challenging, let me not say difficult, it is to keep up with people that have bad intentions, right? Yes, if we use the banks as an example, issues of fraud or attempted fraud, etc. People that are also able to use technology to hurt your business. So while we embrace it and we also look actively to use it, for our benefit, we also recognize that we need to stay very, alert to make sure that it's not also used to harm our business. There's all sorts. We have customer data, you have all sorts, right? We have customer funds as well too. So we also, I can tell you, if we want to situate that, use live examples like my sister did as well too. I was on 2 calls yesterday evening that lasted about 4 hours, which was focused on basically leveraging on technology to make sure that we're good, okay? Trying to just stay one step ahead of anybody with bad intentions. So, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, on to like a question that I suspect that people in the audience will be really interested in. It's about how AXA Mansard acquires customers today. How do you actively go out acquiring new customers for your business?
Okay, AXA Mansard as a whole.
Yes.
All right. So let me take it. Let me take it. So I'll speak as the company. Okay. So for us, our customer acquisition is digital. It's for the digital team. Okay. Again, the e-commerce bit of our duty is essentially an insurtech inside the core business. The core business understands that in the immediate future, the soon-to-be future, it must be operating like an insurtech. So we started the journey early. That's what this team is about. So our own acquisition is digital, and that, we're talking about digital campaigns, social media, the use of social media, engagements via marketing campaigns, targeted, interventions. Even this in some formats, by the time you share, we share, etc., helps us to reach out to more customers. Obviously, the products that we have, as I say, are all digital. So even just making those available, opens you up, and leveraging a lot on search, because we know that your typical consumer now, myself inclusive, before you buy anything new, we go online, we'll go and try and look it up, okay? I know usually before I meet you, if I'm going to meet you for the first time, I will look you up online first. How many people do that? It's a carryover from my consulting days. So I will go and find you first. Abdurrahman, before I met him, I looked at him, I'd seen all his pictures where he liked to go and party, and also I said, okay, when we meet, I will tell him, okay? But that's on the digital side, but offline as well, because the core business is transforming, but essentially it's an offline business. But offline, we also have, you must have feet on the ground. So we have salespeople who go out. We also have retail outlets, welcome centers across the country as well. So I'm guessing, those would be, it would be one of those that she had said she'd visited as well before, where you can go in and buy our products. On the corporate side, then we also have corporate sales teams as well too, that will take our message to organizations. So essentially, I would say that that's it. But increasingly, right across, we are leveraging a lot on digital, marketing and trying to sell that way.
Okay, so you've talked about, like, for your acquisition, you've talked about sales.
Yes.
You've talked about, like, walk-in centers, and you've talked about, like, the digital platforms.
Yes.
Search engine optimization,
yes.
social media, and also, like, digital ads.
Yes.
So which of these three things would you say is, like, the most effective for your business so far?
So for digital, I would say it's actually it's email. It's email communication, yes, email. Yes, so that's
like email marketing, right?
Email marketing. Obviously, you run specific campaigns as well too, either on mobile or via social media, and even on our app. Okay, we are able to push messages for those of you, the few that have our app. There are not many. I don't want to ask you so that I don't shame people, but yeah. So yes, but the most effective currently is email marketing.
Okay, well that's really interesting, because on the surface, like, email is not glamorous at all. So it's, like, really interesting to see that it works so well for your business.
Yes.
Right. So currently, like, AXA Mansard, you guys are always, like, bringing out new stuff, working on new things. So, like, what interesting projects are you currently working on right now?
Currently, we are, I think maybe the most immediate one, where we've revamped our website. So if there's anybody who's familiar with the current one, it will look very different very soon. And not just, we didn't do it just for cosmetic purposes, but we've done it to improve significantly the user experience, your ability to get to products, more easily and in a more informed way as well. Multiple payment options, again, so that you are not just paying for something annually. but can it be more flexible for you? So monthly, I don't know, half-yearly plans, etc. That's something that we're increasing, the application across different products. So that would be one thing. Like I said, just in January, we launched our USSD service, on which you can actually transact as well. You can look up information if you want. Our app is also increasingly, being adopted. Obviously, if you're a customer, then you've got the app and it helps you. But there are, the app, for example, is something that is very popular for our investment customers. It's almost like, the app was built for them. They've just adopted it and they use it, almost exclusively. But those are, I think, 3 channels that I would say. Even the app, we're going to have a version 2 out very soon. So those would be the things to look for.
Okay, so your new website is still going to be axamansard.com, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you've talked about apps, and like almost every business out there, like at some point starts to think about like apps. So like, is there like a point where you should start thinking about building an app for your business? Why was it the right thing to do to build an app when you built an app for your business?
Okay, so I think, again, if you are committed to providing convenience to your customers, it almost becomes, it's unavoidable that you will have to have something, another platform or, a channel for them to be able to reach your products. If I go back to maybe Amazon that as I spoke about earlier, you find that, yes, you can buy things on the website, but there's also an app that gives you pretty much almost the same experience. It helps you to cut also through a lot of the noise, and it is just immediately available and within reach here. So essentially, if you're going to prioritize your customers' convenience and ease, then you will need to have an app, I think.
All right, thank you very much. So you stated once that coverage for insurance in Nigeria is like still below 1%, right? So like, how is AXA Mansard trying to like improve this figure? Is there a world where it's like at 20%? How will we get there?
That world has to exist, it has to exist, and I think I've alluded to that earlier on. But there is a need to improve awareness for education, right, on the importance of insurance and why people should have it. Currently, insurance is a risk management solution, okay? It doesn't prevent bad things from happening. It just says that when they do, unfortunately, I don't know about sometimes, or as they do, okay? And we can talk about the different levels, but when they do, then you are able to manage the fallout better. Essentially, that's it. That's the message at the core of insurance for now. It's evolving. It's evolving to a point where it will actually help to prevent the risks from happening, okay? But there's a lot of awareness that needs to be done. And we're certainly, this is a forum to try to achieve that. We're working certainly with our regulator, NICOM, and other industry stakeholders to address this gap. You have to convince people to buy insurance. It is not something that people wake up and you think, oh, wow, today is the day I get insurance, right? Unless you are compelled to do it for your car, or you have an illness that you are managing and then you must go in when the thing has almost drained all your money, then you say, okay, no, let me go and get some support. So there's a lot in that space that we're doing. We also, obviously, in doing that, there are engagements with people outside of the industry as well. For example, we sponsor tech events from time to time to try and spread that message to the young people as well as the tech community, again, because they both go hand in hand. There are corporate events that we sponsor as well. We've done, recently, the Kids Marathon that we've helped to sponsor. We've done, before that, a Fit Farm. I'm speaking now about events within the time that I've been with the firm, but obviously the company existed long before me. So we're taking those steps, but we must encourage people to view insurance differently. I'm going off at a little tangent here. Let me just quickly share one thing, since the opportunity is here. I personally, for example, do not need to be marketed on the need for insurance. Growing up, we had comprehensive car insurance on our cars. That's all I knew. So of course, when I was grown too now, I did the same thing, right? 4 years into being married, growing up, never had any issue. No car robbery, no robbery at home, nothing. 4 years into being married, carjacked, with my whole family inside the car, and one inside the tummy too. Okay? The car was taken away. Thank God, we were not harmed. Never recovered. But I tell this story every time. I would not have been able to buy a second car. So remember, I have a young child first, about 2 years old, and then another one on the way, right? So the money, I'm putting that money aside for the baby that's coming, isn't it? And then this one now came and stole car that I just bought with my own money. That's the most annoying one, with my own money, okay? But what helped me, really, honestly, is that I had insurance. I'm not saying it because I work for an insurance company or anything. And the agent had advised me then about buying excess buyback, which is, you pay a little extra so that in the event of a claim, you get the full value of the car. And they paid up. So with that amount, of course, Madame then said, you have to step up a little bit from this one. I said, this one, but then you put small money and then we bought a replacement. But without the insurance, honestly, it would have been impossible to do. So you don't know until you need it. But when you have it and you need it, then you thank God that you do. Okay?
Yeah. There's this quote from AXA's CEO, Thomas Borgel, that I really like. Because to empower our 105 million customers to live a better life, that's a big promise, yes, from AXA generally. So how does your team help to deliver on this big promise?
By providing solutions that support customers, right? Essentially to do what you've described. So back to the point that the lady raised, to my left raised about how are you able to customize products to suit literally, maybe not one individual's needs. That's a bit tough to do, right? But certainly the needs of this group, of a group or of a demographic or of a particular, class of people, etc. What products do we provide? So on the asset management side, as I've said, you have savings, okay? The asset management business is our second fastest growing, business in the group. Our mutual funds are the mutual fund product is very popular. So if you don't have it, you should look into it. That's another, I'll just slide that small for you. But it's not everybody that has big money to invest, right? So you then provide, a lower entry point for people. You provide products that people can subscribe to for as low as 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira, maybe even less, depending. You can make contributions that are that small. So you don't then exclude anyone. It's not, okay, we're only dealing with the people that live in exotic places, etc. But as long as you are able to afford to contribute a little bit, you start putting money aside either for savings or for protection. So that's one way. Likewise, I think with the motor insurance product that I'd mentioned before, again, you know, I may not be able to afford the full shebang, but right, I can mix and match a little bit and customize it. That's also there. And let me speak about health insurance. So health is something that unites all of us. That's why I was saying before that, you know, risk management is for when bad things happen. We all fall sick. It's the level, the degree of the illness that varies. But if anybody's in this room and has never been ill, please just raise your hand and show me so we can, you know, collect your blood and heal ourselves. But with health insurance as well too. Last year, we rolled out, in fact, 2 retail plans. I think one that we've even said, okay, you can buy and give to others. If you have domestic staff, if you have young people who are in university and need some basic care against what is the illness that afflicts us the most in this country? Straightforward, okay? So basic cover, it won't have bells and whistles and all, but at least, you know, somebody desperately just needs some intervention for this malaria, they can get it without having to bring money out of their pockets. There are other options as well too for, okay, if you spend money in a hospital, right, and you have a certain type of cover, you get a refund. So I would say that these, and that's why I said that there's still so much possibility out there, so many different ways that one can, you know, still help to support people to live, as we say these days, their best lives, isn't it? That's how it's put. Tunji, help me out, right? They say live your best life. So that's really what we're trying to do. You can boil it down to that. But it's moving from being seen as insurance, they are there, they want to collect the money, to no, we're actually partnering with this. Okay, fine, you can't afford that one, no wala. Okay, so what can you afford to help make sure that when you need it, there is some support? You know, so yeah, that's.
All right. So generally, people often talk about like the Nigerian market and say that Nigeria is like a unique market altogether, right? So compared to like AXA Group's operations as a whole, in what ways is this true for AXA Mansard?
Okay, so I think maybe the biggest difference, I would say, is just if you consider that AXA in the developed, let me say, no, the Western economies are more mature, right? So in most of those countries, certainly like in Europe, insurance, you don't have to preach to people they've developed to the point where they've adopted insurance as a way of life. Okay, in fact, if you don't have insurance, you know, you are in trouble, essentially, and it costs you more to not have insurance, right? You have a car accident on the road in most Western countries. If you don't have insurance, big wahala for you. It's not here that will make arrangement and will settle it, you know. It becomes something that you can be prosecuted for. You could go to jail for not having it. Whereas here, that's not the case. So if you ask me for the differences, I will tell you that that's really it. Now, that in itself is not an issue. We are further behind in the stages of development, but we're on our way. And there is no reason, especially also with a lot that's going on in the regulatory space right now, to not think that we will get there. You know, I think is what it is. Clearly, the businesses, the portfolios in the Western countries are much larger, again, for this same reason, you know, but they are invested, AXA has invested here and in a number of other African countries as well, because they also see and they accept also that there's a huge growth potential here. Okay, so whereas the markets abroad are mature and heading into, they are saturated, you said that, I'm using your words, okay, but whereas they are mature, right, and the growth, the rates of growth are not as rapid anymore. Here, you know, we're growing pretty quickly, so it's just a matter of time.
Okay, all right. So from AXA's partnership with Liverpool FC to like AXA Mansard's partnership with Lagos Kids mini marathon, like talked about earlier, what do you look out for when you're like choosing brands to partner with?
So I think for us, we value integrity. We have a social, a sense of social responsibility as well. And we look for companies or brands that align with these values. Again, our objective as a company is to partner with our customers, to help them to realize their dreams, to fulfill, you know, again, like I said before, to live their best life. So if that best life is to fulfill this dream, then we want to partner with you to help you to do that. In spite of the hurdles that life will throw your way. You know, nobody just sails through unscathed. So we look for brands that share these same values, and then we partner with them that way. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So this is the last segment of our discussion. After this, we're going to like take questions from the audience.
Yes.
If you have any. So like just like general advice, really. The parent company, which is like AXA Group, is like a masterclass at scaling from just like one country to over 62 countries today, and like 160,000 plus employees, 105 million clients throughout the world. Like, what advice do you have for like businesses in the room that are looking to like expand from maybe one state to more states, or just from Nigeria to like other countries too?
Okay. I think the first thing, you know, strip away, again, I like to say, the big grammar and the big noise around it. But if you're going to expand, you have to know your customer. You have to know the market. You have to have the right resources internally to help you do that. And you must be clear in defining your objectives very clearly. AXA wouldn't have come into this country. They're not in every African market. They're in specific ones. So they wouldn't have come in here without doing due diligence. We would not, you know, the former Mansard would not have been a candidate for acquisition, again also, if it also was not delivering, or if I use the word loosely, performing, in quote. So you must be able to identify the potential in, you know, it's even almost, even if you leave out expansion, it's almost like saying you want to start a business. right? One of the first things that you must do is a feasibility study to understand the market, to understand the level of demand for, in fact, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, either by starting the business or by expanding. Are you expanding just because it's nice to do? You know, I just need to be there, it will be good on my CV. If that's it, then okay, you're not going to last long. So what is the need that you're trying to address? Who are the customers in there? Any business that doesn't have customers is not a business. It's a cliched statement, but it's the absolute truth. You're a business because somebody is willing to exchange money for a service that you are providing. End of. Okay, so who are the customers in that market? How many are they? What is their ability to afford the solution that you are bringing? If you are priced too highly, in fact, what can they afford? Let's even leave it at that, right? And for the long term, how much of a demand will there be? Is it something you will sell or do for 1 year, 2 years, and that's the end? You know, how much information do you have about your target market? And then internally, as I said, what level of resources do you have? What will it cost you to expand? What will it cost you to set up the business? How will you source the funds? Then, how many people do you need? If it's a tech-heavy solution, how much technology do you have that's available to you? What skills do you have to leverage on that technology? You know, I think these are basic questions that any entrepreneur would need to answer before starting. There, by no means, nobody's saying don't do it, but it's just saying you have to have a plan. In my days as a consultant, or my life as a consultant, this is what I did. So you would have a strategy. You know, what are you trying to achieve? What is the market saying? What's the level of demand for your business? What resources do you have available? Yeah, and I think you need to answer those questions before you proceed.
So as businesses grow, some of like the challenges they have usually is about hiring, right? So like as a senior business leader at AXA Mansard, what advice do you have about around like hiring and like retaining exceptional talent as like the business grows?
Okay. So should I say it's a big challenge here? The business owners in the room, what's your experience been like with hiring, recruiting? At least AXA Mansard is not responsible for that one. Right? No, but I would say first of all that it starts with the business owner. And what is your own, what are you about? What are your values? What are your objectives? First of all, because it's very easy to blame people that you hire for the failure to deliver on business objectives. But if the employer or the business owner is not leading from the front, if you are not setting examples for your employees to follow, setting an example for them to follow, then there's already a gap, okay? But talking about the employees themselves or recruitment, I would say that you need to certainly, recruitment is a major challenge. It's a major challenge because there's a large number of, or a large pool, right, of people that are available. Okay? So your job is to try and cut through and choose the best that will help you to achieve your objectives. Again, this is why I went back to what is your own objective for starting the business, right? On our side, maybe if I use us as an example, first of all is that I inherited a fantastic team that was pulled together from various parts of the business in setting up the digital group. And then we have looked for people that can add to the quality that is in the team already. And I think maybe that would be the first piece of advice I would give, to say, when you are hiring, you must be bringing in people that are better than what you already have. Maybe even better than yourself, actually. And that takes a lot of humility from the business owner or from the business leader, right? To hire somebody that is better than you at what you're doing. I will explain it this way. There is so much knowledge out there now that it is foolish to think that the people you have within your organization represent the best that you could have. Do you understand that point? How many people are there in the world now? 2 billion, 3 billion, 7 billion. Sorry, I was thinking Facebook. You know, it's Facebook that has 2 billion. Forgive me. Right. There's 8 billion. Let's even cut it down. Let's say 7 billion. Right? So, assuming your organization has even 100, let's even dash you 1,000. Okay? 1,000. So, out of that 7 billion that's out there, is it possible that you have the best in the 1,000? So that's the argument. For you to go, you must look for people that are better than what you have. By all means, you have to establish criteria for the ones that come in, at the beginning. But then anybody that is joining the team must be better, must be coming to improve. Otherwise, you bring them in and you will be doing their job. So you are paying them. I think that's what I would, and that therein lies the challenge in sort of recruiting talent. Now, when they're in as well, you have a responsibility to manage them properly. When I say this, it means their efforts and their contributions. First of all, you must put in place a system that allows them to perform. If you've brought them in and you are telling them every day how to do their jobs, so why did you hire them? If you know, then just do it, right? You must give an environment that allows people to work, that encourages creativity. The reasons why you've brought them in. So provide an environment that allows them to display all those qualities. And you have to reward performance. And really, you must also then sanction non-performance. Now, I say that very carefully. Not by killing an ant with a sledgehammer. Because the easiest thing to do is to sanction. You just kind of, okay? You must help people. One of the things, I'll tell you, maybe personally, sorry Abdurrahman, I'm rambling a little bit now, but let me not talk theory. Let me try and make it real. Let me make it real. In the time that I've been with AXA Mansard, one of the things that personally I am adapting to as well is people will fail, right? So that's the first thing. In fact, I encourage you to attempt make attempts at solving problems. If the attempts are genuine, and if you have thrown all you have at it, yes, but you fail, it's not a problem. Okay? But then learn very quickly from that failure. If you need support, then we must provide the support so that the next attempt is then better. Where the problem is if you are repeatedly failing. So when I hire, I actually look for attitude. It's something that I check for. We can teach you all the technical bits. Already you are coming with some level of competence, otherwise we wouldn't be interviewing you. Do you understand? It's like saying you are a developer and you don't know how to code. How did you get into the room? You must know that one now. But we can teach you even more. However, I am interested in your attitude, how you work, your integrity, your professionalism, your respect for other people within your team. How do you treat people when nobody is watching? If you tick all those boxes, no problem. It's not a problem if you miss the technical bit from time to time. We'll fix that up. Nobody came into this world as a complete package. All of us learn as we go. So we have to stop seeing failure, in quotes, as something that requires sledgehammer. We must kill you once you failed. No, you must make the attempt, right? And then learn from the attempt. So it's like saying it's not how many times you fall that it matters. It's how often you get back up. You know, you get up and you overcome that. Okay, then the next level, perhaps then you fall a bit. Okay, then you get back up and then you keep going. So that is something that I am also teaching myself to do. If I go back to 20th century management thinking, are you with me, people? So I'm making it a bit real for you here now, right? If you fail, you fail. We have to sanction you and deal with you now. I've worked in a place where if you fail like this, we will incident report. You will see different colors of biros. I'm serious. This is not a story, right? And I'm saying it's not even a failure. You just deviated from procedure small. You still achieved the end result, but you didn't follow the process that the company had defined. You didn't follow process. Incident reporting. So we got to a point, we would even fill the report before it was requested for. All right? The question is, are you achieving the results? Yes. Did we do anything illegal? No. That's also very important. It goes back to integrity, right? But have we been creative within what was stipulated? In fact, does the process need to be reviewed? If you're a learning organization, that's what you should actually be thinking. Okay, if it's requiring us to do this differently all the time, then perhaps that thing we wrote 10 years ago, it's like saying you have a 10-year process that you wrote 10 years ago that is going to be valid now. Impossible. So that's my long-winded response to you on that. But we look for, you have to look for talent because it's out there. They're smart people. They're smarter than you. They're not inside the organization. Find them, right? When you bring them in, manage them properly. Allow them to work. Allow them to express themselves. Empower them to do so, right? Reward them for performance, okay? And just manage them properly, I think.
That was really comprehensive.
Rambling as well, but hopefully I made some sense. Okay.
The health insurance space is like extremely competitive, but like AXA Mansard continues to remain dominant in that space.
Yes.
What advice do you have about like how to stay ahead of competition? Because like obviously there's like a lot of people coming for your bread. Like how do you stay relevant? How do you stay ahead of competition?
Sorry, please repeat the question.
Okay,
No
so
vex.
while he has a drink,
Yes.
let's go over the question again. So it's today when you talk about health insurance, AXA Mansard is like a really dominant player in Nigeria in health insurance. So the question is, how do they remain dominant? How are they always like a step ahead of competition?
Okay, I mean, I hope we are a step ahead of competition, and I hope we remain so. I'm just going to go back to something I've been repeating. We don't think the job is done, people, and honestly, that so even though I've said yes, we're number one in the health insurance space. Can I ask in this room, how many people have health insurance here? Okay, no. So if you have it, raise your hand up high so that I can see the people that don't have. Okay? At best, maybe that's 50% of the room. Let me even dash us 50%. It's not up to, right? No, I'm dashing us 50%. Don't worry. Don't make the people that don't have feel bad. But my point is, if 50% of the room here doesn't have health insurance yet, how on earth can we afford to be happy that we're number one? We're not even. I will tell you that honestly. Because there's still so much work to do. So how do we stay focused on doing it? Is by looking at the work that we haven't done yet, frankly. Maybe we can rest when one out of in fact, 2 people in the country has health insurance from AXA Mansard. Let me add that level there. Maybe then we can rest. But how do we keep going? It's by staying in touch with the customer and finding out what the customers need, right? There is a reason now why we don't have more people subscribed to our health plans. Whatever that reason is, we need to find out what it is, and we need to solve it. We need to be able to bring in more people that are outside of the net. And honestly, the job is, it's huge. Even the telcos, who have millions and millions of subscribers, they are never tired, are they, of course, I didn't say that too, of acquiring new customers. Okay? So we're not in any position to relax at all, and we won't. There's too much to be done, really. That still needs to be done.
Okay, so my very final question before we take questions from the audience is, are there any opportunities at all for people in the room here? A lot of them are business owners, to partner with AXA Mansard in any way?
I would say yes. I think for the lady who asked previously.
She has a savings platform, right?
Yeah. So like I said, please speak with Tunji immediately when we're done. But we have, for example, I have a meeting on Monday with the team with a gentleman who has a medical solution, like a fitness app, that he wants to discuss with us about. I can't tell you how many such meetings that this team has taken. Talk less of also then the larger company. And also, I would say to you that as long as, if I speak for the digital operation, if you remember that my objective or our objective here is to grow the e-commerce business, right, for the company, I would say that as long as you have a solution that helps us to do that, that helps us to serve customers digitally, right, in a fantastic way that delivers a great customer experience, unparalleled customer experience, that will help to convert those customers into brand ambassadors for us, that will make their lives more comfortable, that will help them to live their best lives please come and talk to us. Okay? You can reach us on our website, www.axamansard.com. You can reach us on telephones. We will give you the numbers. I don't have it offhand. 0700 AXA Mansard, right? Yes. I always get confused because when I do the AXA Mansard, then I don't remember the digits that we should press there, but that's the short code actually, 0700 AXA Mansard. You can reach us via USSD, and if you download our app, you can reach us via the app as well too. If all that fails, we have a physical address that you can reach us to. I'm talking even about our team alone, but of course, the core business, right, has physical addresses. As I said, we have welcome centers all across the country. We have a head office that's in VI in Lagos. We have the various businesses have locations. Our health business is at Onikpan. The investment business is Bishop Bayo Adesanya. The pensions business is at, what's the name of the street? Olosa. And head office is on Amadu Bello. Our own office, the digital team, we're in Lekki. So you find us everywhere and anywhere. But if you have anything that helps us to achieve these aims that I've laid out, then please speak to us. We're very happy to do so.
All right, thank you so very much. I hope by doing that is living your best life on that new website. It's something you keep saying.
What we have actually is that know you can is our own. Live your best life before somebody goes to come and sue us for trying to take. Yeah, but what we have is know you can. And simply it means know you can live your best life, literally. Know you can achieve your dreams. Know that you can be there for your family members, even in times of distress. Know that, God forbid, and we all are getting, nobody's getting out of here alive, right? Even if the final one happens, know that your family members, your beneficiaries will be taken care of. We're a company that, you asked me how I got here. I look for values in companies. The organizations I've worked with, I've learned by, later as I've grown to that, it's not by chance. I've had opportunities to work with others, and I chose differently. So you sit back and you ask, you're like, why did you, maybe some of them even had more money attached to it, right? But we're a company that values our integrity. I know that there's a negative perception about insurance companies in the country. That's the truth. There's no need trying to run around it. But we're a company that values our integrity, and we try to do business the right way. We are not perfect, okay, but we are striving for perfection. And that's also why we can't rest and say, we're number so and so in the industry and let's close and let's go home. That's not how it works.
Okay. All right, thank you so very much, Mr. Bayo Adesanya.